Namibia's consumer inflation quickening slightly there to 6.2% year-on-year in June. That's from 6.1% in May. On a month-on-month basis, prices falling back by 0.2% for the month of June. To unpack what this means for monetary policy going forward, we've got Romain Mostert, Head of Research at IJG Securities, joining us on the line from Windhoek. Romain, thanks for joining us as always. So what's your interpretation as to, as I said, what this means for monetary policy?
Okay, I think first of all, when you look at the numbers, it's quite an interesting set of numbers, with the monthly figures actually declining 0.2%, while your annual inflation ticked up. Basically, if you look at what the possible implication on the MPC decisions would be, I would say it's more a reflection of the inflation that we are importing from South Africa and what the SA Reserve Bank might do on these inflation figures. That's starting to touch the upper band of their target. And maybe, I think our central bank will only follow South Africa on their trend.
And of course, we've got our MPC in South Africa, which started today, and we'll have clarity on interest rates and the direction of them on Thursday from the South African Reserve Bank. But what level do you think inflation is, or do you think that the central bank in Namibia is comfortable with when it comes to inflation?
Yeah, I think if you look at past MPC statements from the Bank of Namibia, they've showed that they are fairly comfortable with any inflation figures or annual inflation figures below double-digit territory. So I would say anything, as we are seeing now, is sort of just a healthy inflation figure reflecting some nice growth coming through in the country.
And we saw vehicle sales figures coming through. In fact, some certainly strong figures which came through for the latest reading there, and perhaps some signs of domestic demand picking up. But overall, I mean, what's your sense as to how the demand side of the economy is picking up in Namibia right now?
Yes, I think if you look at the demand side, it's quite an interesting case. We saw a weak start to the year, or a relatively weak start, not really weak, but some slow growth on a year-on-year basis in the first 6 months of the year. But I think we will see the government spending and then also the tax breaks coming through in the second half of the year, with your average bankable person or your middle income individuals getting a relatively approximate 10% increase in disposable income due to the tax breaks that have been introduced. And I think that will definitely spur on domestic demand in Namibia.
Which sectors do you see benefiting most from this then? I would assume you're going to say consumer-related sectors, but where do you see the flow through in terms of investor options right now?
Yeah, I would say the problem is with consumption. We import most of our goods, so it's basically flowing back out of the country. And when you look at your economic formula, it's sort of a neutral or just a profit margin that sticks in the country. But basically, I would focus on your companies that are exposed to these, to the man on the street, like your FNB Namibia, Bank Windhoek Holdings, where you will see increased amounts of money flowing through their bank accounts and maybe transaction fees picking up. Also, good gearing to the Namibian consumer is Namibia breweries. You saw some strong price increases coming through over the past couple of, say, 24 months, and I think they are fairly geared to the uptick in domestic demand.
Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate your time, Romain.